The easiest and most hassle-free way to get a PHP server running on your Windows computer is to use a package called xampp. That's what I recommended you install back when we started our first PHP project. If you've installed xampp, then you already have MySQL installed. If not, you can follow the link I've attached to this video to get PHP and MySQL installed using xampp. When you start Apache, you'll also need to start MySQL. Let's take a look. Open up the xampp control panel on your local computer. Click Start next to Apache, as you usually do. Now, you'll also want to click Start next to MySQL. xampp comes with a web-based software package known as phpMyAdmin for browsing the data in the database and for executing SQL queries. To access it, click the Admin button here next to the MySQL Start button. This is PHP code that is running on your local computer in the special xampp folder. Many shared hosts use this same software to let you interact with your database on their server, so it can be good to be familiar with it. We don't have any of our own databases to browse quite yet, but we'll get to that soon enough. After we create the shirts for my database, it will show up over here. phpMyAdmin is what I would call a MySQL client, a piece of software that provides an interface for interacting with a database. In future videos, when I ask you to open up your MySQL client, I intend for you to launch phpMyAdmin from the xampp control panel to get to this screen here. There are 4 pieces of information you'll need to connect to the database from PHP: the host name, the port number, the username, and the password. Let me show you where you can find those 4 pieces of information. The username will be over here. By default, it's root, and it's whatever appears before the @ sign in this user field. For hostname, you'll need to use whatever comes after the @ sign. By default, that's localhost. For the port number, you'll need to go back to the xampp control panel. Here it shows what port MySQL is running on. By default, that's 3306. The last thing you'll need is the password for the user. Unless you've changed it, it should still be the default, which is blank. You can change the password for a user in phpMyAdmin under the Users tab. Here you can see that the root user on localhost has no password by default. If you need to edit this user to change the password, you can click Edit Privileges. Scroll down a little to change the password. Here are the default values for those 4 pieces of information you'll need to connect to the database in one place. If any of yours are different, follow the steps I just showed you to find what the values are for your environment. If you have MySQL running in your environment, and you know what to do when I ask you to open your MySQL client, you can skip ahead to the next quiz.